Getting a job in the UK is tough and getting visa sponsorship even tougher. But with the right planning and strategy, you can still achieve it. So I'm very proud to introduce you guys to Vicky, who I had mentored and coached in the initial days when he was struggling in the UK. So let's hear his rejection story first and then how he achieved success. If you're interested to know everything in detail, make sure you keep watching the video till the end. So without any further delay, let me introduce you guys to Vicky. Hi Vicky, welcome to Your Knowledge Buddy. And if you don't mind, can you please introduce yourself to my audience, please?
Hi, Sarika. Hi, thank you for having me. I am Vicky Fernandez. I'm a product security engineer. I'm currently working for an American insurance company, which is having offices based out in the UK and in India as well. And in this company, I'm working as a cloud and container security team. So in this team, we're working on various security services and deploying services on the cloud and securing the infrastructure. And I've been in this company since November 2022. So it's going great so far.
So first of all, massive congratulations to you too, because you landed a sponsor job. And I remember when you reached out to me, I don't remember 3 years ago or 4 years ago, regarding some coaching and mentorship. I believe you were looking for a job. You were just finishing your studies at that time.
Yes, absolutely. So it was like I was studying for my master's in MSc cybersecurity at Cardiff University. So I was completing my course. That was like around in 2022. I had at that point we had spoken about how to get jobs in the UK. I reached out to you because I was looking for jobs and I was like trying a lot in the job application scenario, wherein I've been applying for multiple jobs and going on through LinkedIn. So I just wanted some guidance, and that is how we spoke up at that point of time.
Thank you very much, Vicky. So, first of all, let's start about your rejection. So, everybody thinks who gets a sponsor job here, it's that easy, which is not. So, personally talking to you offline, so I understand you had applied for more than 100 jobs already before you got any job or you got your visa sponsor job. So, let's start first with your rejection journey. Why you think you were rejected? How many applications did you put? What did you do? So that it helps all the students who are going through everything that you went 3 years ago.
So in my scenario, when I came for my master's, I had previous work experience of 6 years into IT and cybersecurity, and yet I was struggling into applying for jobs because I used to apply for like any jobs that I found on LinkedIn. I would apply on any job post and just randomly keep applying for jobs. And I did cross 100 plus applications, and every day my mailbox used to get a rejection email. It used to be demotivating because you are getting rejected after trying your best. And also I did give multiple interviews from those 100 applications. So I did interview for like about 7 companies, I would say. And from there I got this job opportunity, and I just started working in this role.
Okay, so I'm picking up two things. So you said you had already got 6 years of experience before moving to the UK. So I'll note to all my audience, remember UK market is already tough. If you don't have any experience, if you're a fresher, it's not going to be easy at all. Forget about sponsor job, forget about maybe even getting a job now. It's not easy. And
Absolutely.
so if you're planning to come to the UK to study, make sure you have some kind of relevant work experience from your own country before you think to study abroad. That is what I'm learning already. Now, second thing, what you said now, you went through massive rejection, 100 plus, before you got 7 interviews. So, talk about what was the reason they cited for your rejection? Because you already have 6 years of experience and cybersecurity is in demand skill so far in the UK.
So sometimes when I spoke to when I gave these applications, they would not give you a clear reason. So they would say like a very generic or vague reason that we have found another candidate who is having a better skills or better experience. So they would not give you the actual reason why they are rejecting your application. Also, the another important reason is that when you have job applications, your first filter is through ATS. There's an applicant tracking system which filters your applications, and they check on the basis of the keywords that is the job description that is looking for. If your CV is not matching as per the keywords in the job description, then they automatically reject your application. So that if you get a reject, that may be possible that a human HR did not reject you, but a system or a software rejected you beforehand.
Okay. So that was about the keywords, not customizing your CV as per the job description. Any specific more rejection messages or comments you received from recruiters or the hiring manager?
So this was the first phase where I faced rejection. Then going forward, when I gave interviews, the HR interviews would go well. But then I did interview for one of a big UK housing agency company, and we had multiple interview rounds. There were technical rounds, there were like HR rounds, or communication skills rounds. And then they even had some kind of psychological, some kind of assessments. And when they gave me feedback, they told me that you are not giving much more articulating multiple examples, but what they are looking for. So when you are going for such interviews, I would say prepare well. You give multiple scenarios. So look for approaches like where there's a star approach their interviewers are looking for. So you answer every interview question in a star format, as that is how they would get the answers that they are looking for.
Exactly. So, two things again, which I picked up now. First of all, guys, if you are looking for a job in the UK or if you're applying for the jobs, make sure you customize your CV based on the job description so that you pass the ATS system. Unless until your ATS score is not above 80%, do not even apply because you will get auto rejection. Second thing, make sure you follow the UK CV standard. Do not have 4 or 5 pages CV. 2 pages CV should be more than enough and make it action oriented. When you write your roles and responsibility, it should be what you have done, how you have done, and what did you achieve. You need to quantify your achievement. This is very important to impress the UK recruiters. And the third thing, which Vicky is talking about, is the STAR technique. It's a framework which is used in the UK to answer the questions. So scenario based means if you look at STAR, S stands for situation, T stands for the task, A stands for action, R stands for result. So what Vicky means is whenever you answer those questions, you have to give a situation, give the background, give the scenario, what was the scenario, then what task was assigned to you because T stands for task. You have to explain that. The A stands for what action did you take? You have to specify action which you took, not your team. So do not say we, say I. And the result. Remember, the result can be positive, it can be negative. But if it's a negative, or if you do not meet the deadlines, or you did not produce whatever was the output needed, what did you learn from your failure? You can still say that. And of course, if it's a positive output, definitely go for it. So this is the framework which you have to use while giving interview in the UK. And you need to train yourself. Like I keep saying in my different videos, when I was in India, I was never introduced to the STAR technique because it's all about behavior based question. And that is what they check in the interview. So you have to train your brain, you have to practice that. And again, if anybody is willing to look through the questions and answers, I have prepared 70 questions and answer guide for you. You guys can comment PDF or comment just interview question. I'm going to send it to you guys. Okay. Thank you, Vicky, so far. So let's move to the next section. Now, when did you start getting positive response after 100 applications? You said that. Did you waste like already 1 year? And was it only after 1 year when you understood the mistakes you were making, did you start getting calls?
So in my scenario, I was applying for jobs towards the end of my course, and my journey of job applications was like about for 4 months. And I'd been applying to multiple jobs and then getting rejection. Then I started understanding where I'm lacking, what skills I'm missing. So I started working on my skills. I started understanding what the job market is looking for, what are the job descriptions looking for, and I started doing those courses, tried doing some self study certifications, sort of things. So I started improving myself. And once I was like feeling, I went through multiple interview rounds, and then I started understanding, okay, in this particular interview A, I did not answer this section properly, or this methodology, or this kind of scenario. I did not explain it properly. So I kept that in mind. I went back, I studied about it and learned more about it. And then when I came up with this job opportunity that in the company that I'm working for right now, I was very much prepared and the interview went easily. And that's how I got the job.
Well done, you. You said it very well. So, first of all, again, I'm going to pick up what you said. So, you have to do your own self assessment. You need to know where you're lacking. You are the best person. And you got to do that by reading the job description. So, the all the students that I'm mentoring and coaching now, the first meeting that I have with them, I do a skill assessment. What it means is, I will ask the person to read the job description, 20 to 30 job description, write down the skills in one column, what you know versus the skills that you don't have. It can be also certification, it can be any particular tool, or it can be any particular skill. It can be anything. And whatever you don't know, you have to take out time to self learn, or again through any coaching if you want. And then once you have fixed that gap, it can be, like Vicky is saying, fixing by doing a certification which was needed, or learning a particular skill. Then only you're bridging that skills gap. If you don't do that, you may keep applying for 100 jobs or 1,000 jobs. You will never get call from the recruiters or the hiring manager. So that is what I am learning. Second thing, after every interview, after every rejection, if you're not getting feedback from the recruiters or the hiring manager, you do your own self assessment. You know better. You know which answers you did not say properly and which answers were not convincing enough. Make a mental note of it. Once you are home, do it in an Excel sheet. When I was in the interview preparation time, I used to dump all the questions in an Excel sheet. I call that as my Bible. And the 70 interview questions that I'm talking about is basically my Bible. I dumped all the questions and I also wrote the answers that I had written. I also told I have written down the answers which I said during the interview. And then I tried to fix it where I went wrong and how I could have done better. And that's how I started cracking interviews, like you said. So very well done. So moving forward, I'm going to ask you next question. When you were applying for the companies, did you apply for any company in the UK or did you apply only to the licensed sponsors?
So in my scenario, I applied only to license sponsor because you get a spreadsheet of the list of license sponsors that are certified from the UK government. I made a download of that spreadsheet and I made sure that I'm applying only to these companies so that my approach for applying for jobs is very focused and narrowed rather than going for multiple companies where they are not looking for sponsorship or do not have a job role which is giving sponsorship at the moment or maybe in near future. So I stick to the list of sponsorship roles only.
Exactly. So, guys, just go to Google and type licensed sponsors in the UK. You will see from the government portal home office link, the first link that you see, just download it. That should be your Bible. Before you apply to any company in the UK, make sure that company got a license. And do not ask for sponsorship from day one because if you're on a graduate visa, you are still legally allowed to work in this country as of now for 2 years. And then once you prove your worth, once you get a job offer, prove your worth, then you try to negotiate your sponsorship. This is the only strategy which is working in the UK. So, very well done, Vicky. Now, tell us about your journey from getting a job versus getting a visa sponsor job. Because once you got a job, I don't think you landed a sponsor job with them from day one. You
No.
negotiated it. So, what are the things you did, from the job versus the visa sponsor job?
So when I got this job, I was like finishing my student visa, and I told my company HR that I will be getting a graduate role, the post study work visa. So I'll be taking that visa, and so they were okay with that, and on that basis of agreement, they gave me the job offer letter, and I joined this company, and even later on, I applied for my post study work visa, and then once I was got into the job, I started working, and then when the time came that where I had like a year left on my post study work visa, what I started doing is to reaching out to the HR, the person who is in charge for handling visas. So I was in touch with them. I started asking them that, hey, my visa is getting expired, the post-study work visa. I need a visa sponsorship. What are your plans? So please let me know. So I kept following up with them, sending them multiple emails, the teams, IM messages, and etc. So after a point of time, they got back to me saying that, okay, we are going to sponsor you. And then they send me the formalities like, okay, you need to do this, you need to fill this form, and etc. You need to get a recommendation letter from your manager. So I also reached out to my manager saying that, okay, I'm in this process of getting a skilled work visa sponsorship from the company. So can you please help me to give a recommendation? So my manager was kind enough to give me a recommendation letter. And this all happened in sync with me in contact with my manager and the HR. And finally, after all the coordination was done, I went to the UK's government website for the Home Office website, where I filled in my application for skilled work visa. And once that was done, I got my skilled work visa sponsorship.
Awesome. This is so clever. And this is a strategy that everybody should use. So well done, you, Vicky. One question I have. So when you were working just as an employee, you did not get a sponsor job. What are the things you did very different so that you are visible by the, say, your hiring manager or leadership team? Because if you just are working just on a normal basis, maybe they would say, hey, you don't deserve a sponsorship. So was there anything different you did, so that you stand out?
So what I did is that I tried to increase my visibility in the organization, because we apart from your technical work, there would be other forums or platforms within your organization where you can voice your opinion or you can express yourself. I started being more vocal on these kind of platforms as well, apart from my technical side. Also, and when it came to the work side of things, I also made sure that I'm doing my deliverables on time, and whatever the task has been assigned to me, I'm giving them within the deadlines. So all this in totality will help me to create a strong case for myself that, okay, this person is a very good candidate and we want this person to be in a company for the long term, and that is why they were kind enough to give me the skilled work visa sponsorship. Perfect. And this is exactly that I was talking about. You have to be visible in your company. If you're not visible, they may not even know that you exist. So these are the stuffs which Vicky did. So if you are working with a licensed sponsor, make sure you go out of your way to do things so that the team sees you and you're visible. Start contributing more than your job. Okay, Vicky, thank you so far. I'm going to ask you next question related to certification. So you mentioned earlier you started doing some certification. So I have many students here in the UK who are doing MSc in cybersecurity. So what kind of certification do you suggest they should be doing if they want a job here in the UK in cybersecurity? So I would suggest that maybe you can look for a generalized ethical hacking certification, so you get an understanding about how cybersecurity works in general. So you will be taught about various forms of attacking, like pen testing, like application security, etc., etc. So if you can look for like CEH is one certification, CompTIA Security Plus is also a good certification. Anybody who's beginning in cyber, they can look for these ones. Then eventually, once you get experience, you go further. You can even look for like cloud, you can look for AI, or you can, so in cloud, you can look for the AWS, Azure. So whatever is suits you or whatever you are interested, or whatever the company has demands at that point of time, you can look into that. And later on, you can, once I think you have like 3 or 5 years of experience, you can also look for certifications like CSSP. Okay, awesome. Thank you. And if you don't mind, if you can share all those links with me, I'll be providing in the video description so that guys who need help, they can go and have a look. Sure, definitely. So, Vicky, when you start applying for the job for cybersecurity, did you see any kind of description where it says, we need to do a DBS check for this kind of role? So I would say roles that involve penetration testing, security testing, they would look for a security clearance, SC. They say SC required. So if you do not have SC, they would not even look at your application at all. And this SC clearance is only granted to individuals who are in the country for more than 5 years. So after 5 years of your time in the country, only then you can apply for SC clearance, and that is when you can apply for these kind of roles. So if you are into a role like a penetration testing or security testing, like in my case, when I was in my previous role, I was into penetration testing and security testing kind of roles. I used to test applications and network security, etc. But I was looking for jobs in these similar roles. But then I understood that okay, for these job roles, they are looking for SC clearance. I'm not going to be eligible for them. That is how I started pivoting into other forms of security, and then I started applying for different other types of roles as well. So I would say that certain job roles they require DBS check or they would require SC clearance. So it is a good thing to have a look at the job description, read through what they are looking for. Sometimes they do mention explicitly that this role requires SC clearance. If you see that is mentioned and you do not have SC clearance because if you're a fresher, whatever is your circumstance at that point of time, so please do not apply for those roles. You can skip those roles and apply for other roles.
Okay. Can you just summarize once again what roles they should not apply if it says SC clearance or DBS versus which roles can they apply?
So roles like a security tester or penetration tester, these roles I would say do not apply because they require SC clearance. Most of the time, the companies who put these kind of job applications out on LinkedIn and other websites, they would have projects that are of critical infrastructure or government projects. So they would not be keen for hiring people who are like new into the country or who are freshers. So I would say these kind of roles you can avoid for now, but go for other roles like product security engineering, or you go for any cloud security engineering. Or you go for any kind of a managerial side of role. If you're into risk assessment or you want to look for those kind of avenues, you can look for those roles.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks, Vicky, so far. So my last question for you is what kind of job sites did you use to find job in the UK?
So the major job site is LinkedIn. You need to be on LinkedIn. I know many people would say that LinkedIn is very daunting. We have been applying so many jobs. We are not getting any response. But what I would add to this is that when you apply on LinkedIn, there would be two types of applications. One is that you get an easy apply button. And then there is another application where you need to go to the company's website and you fill the application form and you submit your job application. I would suggest you do not click on this easy apply because it is, I know it is very easy, it's very convenient. You just go click, your details are submitted through LinkedIn, and you feel like it's done, you have applied for the job. But there would be thousands of applicants doing the same procedure like you, going to the easy apply and sending their details, and the HR or the company will be obviously not looking into these applications at all because they would go under their pile and they would be lost and forgotten over there. So I would say do not apply for the easy apply button. Go to the job sites or to the company page and put your application and submit over there. Also, when you are on LinkedIn, what I used to do is that I used to look for the jobs that are posted in the jobs section on LinkedIn. But along with that, make sure when you're applying, have another tab in your LinkedIn wherein you are searching for posts that people are posting for the job role that you're looking for. Let's say you're looking for a job of a application security engineer. So you put the keyword in the search application security engineer and filter it down to posts and say that the posts which are posted in the last 24 hours. So sometimes what happens is that some people from some companies, they do not post the job advert on the LinkedIn jobs, but they would post it in their post on their profiles. So if you have this kind of search separately, you will also get all the posts that people have posted in the last 24 hours. You can maybe they would put out like this is my email address or click on this link. So whatever is mentioned in that post, you need to do that accordingly, and that is how you can apply for more jobs apart from the jobs that are listed on LinkedIn job section.
Exactly.
And
That's a clever approach.
yeah. And along with that, there are other sites like Indeed, etc. But LinkedIn is the major forum to apply for jobs. Many people they get tired, like, and they don't know how to apply, and that is why they've been getting rejections, and they go helter skelter and stuff. So you need to have a right approach when you're applying for jobs.
Yeah. I'm just going to say the strategy or the approach that Vicky is talking about. If you do that, searching in a post, you get to know who is hiring. So maybe a hiring manager or the talent acquisition manager. So you have their details already. You can also send them a private message. So that is a clever approach. You also have their email ID, and then you can also have an offline catch up before the interview, asking what will the interview about, what will be the different segments, maybe one interview round, two interview rounds. So you can have a casual catch up, which is perfectly okay in the UK. It's allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Vicky, so far. That's all from me. So, any piece of advice to the students who are watching this video and who are still struggling to find a job or even a visa sponsored job?
Yeah, sure. So my advice would be is that if you're back at home, you're trying to come to UK, you make sure you have at least 2 to 3 years of work experience, and then you come to study abroad. Because if you do not have these at least a minimum 2 to 3 years of work experience, and you are going to apply for jobs over here, you are definitely going to struggle a lot. The job market in the UK is an experience based market. The more experienced and the more skills you have, the more your chances are of getting the job. So if you do not have these experience, you do not have the skills to back you up, it's going to be very tough. It's not easy to get a job in the UK. But I don't want to disappoint the students or applicants who are applying, but you need to have the right approach. And if you are having the right approach, then I'm sure you're going to get the job. And when you are already here in the UK during the course of your study, keep an eye on the jobs that are going around the market. See for what skills are they looking for. Go through job descriptions. See the keywords that they are looking. See, and also keep a check on the industry trends. So, like currently, as everybody knows, AI is booming. So there is a lot of talk going on about AI security. So maybe try to understand what is going on in this sphere of AI security, and then you see what is your current position at that point of time, and you try to learn these skills. So learning skills is very important. Having experience is very important. And if you are going this right approach, I'm sure definitely you will land a job.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Vicky. So, one point I'm going to add. Last year, the UK government already increased the salary threshold. So, if you don't have relevant experience and that kind of experience, 3 to 4 years or even more than that, you will never meet that new salary threshold. So, make sure have some experience before you plan to move to the UK. So, on that note, Vicky, thank you very much and all the best to you.
Thank you so much, Sarika. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And for the guys who are watching it, if you require any help, career coaching, you can reach out to me, email at yourknowledgeberry@gmail.com. I'm more than happy to help anyone who's struggling at the moment. Thank you, and all the best, Vicky.
Thank you.